In this episode, we break down a video for the first time ever on the podcast. Welcome to the How to Get on Reality TV podcast with Dan Giesling, where I answer your reality TV casting questions once a week. Hey everyone, what's going on? My name is Dan Giesling, and as always, I'm very excited to be here every single Monday answering your reality TV casting questions. And this week, we're doing something a little different. I told you a few weeks ago, I listened to some of your feedback. We're going to change things up a little bit from time to time and just keep everyone on their toes. This week, we're going to break down an actual video audition. One that someone submitted. We're going to talk about the details of that in a second. But this is one, even if you're normally listen to this audioly, that's not even a word. If you listen to it through the podcast audio format, it's also available on YouTube at youtube.com/howtogetonrealitytv. There'll be a link on the website, howtogetonrealitytv.net. So you may want to watch both to check that out. Before we get into our video breakdown, I do want to give you guys a heads up that the Snapchat episode is coming. So if you haven't added me on Snapchat yet, it's my full name, Dan Giesling. No space in between. You can add me on there. And I'm telling you, when we have the Snapchat episode, there's going to be people be like, hey, Dan, you never told me about it. Or, hey, Dan, I didn't know your Snapchat. My Snapchat is Dan Giesling, all one word, all lowercase, so you can add me there. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this week's first time video breakdown. All right, guys, so here's the deal. Here's how this is going to work. Number one, I'm going to treat this like I would someone that submits their video for the casting video analysis, which is a service offered through my website, howtogetonrealitytv.net. It's going to be a little abbreviated. Normally what I'll do is when I break down an audition video like this, I'll watch it one time and I'll record my initial impressions live. So when I watch it for the first time, I record my initial impressions and then I send that audio file to the person. In this case, it's Andrew, and that way he can watch it with my audio track and to see what it's like for someone watching his video for the first time. So that's part one. The second part is I go through, I watch it again, I watch it a few more times, and I give them 3 must-make changes to this audition video to make it better and put them in a better position to be successful. For all intents and purposes for this podcast, we're just going to skip the initial. We're going to combine the initial review and just give them the 3 action steps at the end. I do have to say, I watched the first 3 seconds of this video and I'm like, stop. I don't want to do that. I want to watch it with you guys for the first time. So I'm going to overlay this in the video player for you guys that watch on YouTube. You guys should be able to hear it like normal if you're listening in audio format. So either way, you guys will get something out of it. Before I do that, I want to read you guys the email that Andrew had sent me to kind of lead to this point. All right, so it says, hey, Dan, thanks so much for answering my question on your podcast, and the advice will be a huge help. Here's my video as requested. As for the question you had in the response, I never heard back from casting after submitting this video. However, I sent mine in a week before the deadline, and I know they request for submissions to be sent in ASAP. Cool. I assume they never even watch my video. They do watch every video. It's my first time auditioning. That's important to know. And I'd have been surprised if it had been chosen on my first attempt. I figured I'd iron out the kinks and have a better chance in future attempts. Secondly, in addition to teaching, I also have a part-time baseball job scouting minor league games. Got it. Just so you guys know, Andrew gave full disclosure for us to use this on the podcast. I would never take someone's email or video and put them on the podcast without full disclosure because it's just the way we do things. I would never do that. Let's see what else he says. I know you're not a fan of open calls, but one was nearby in Minnesota this spring, so I went mainly for experience. That's good. I don't know if you want to hear about it since it's not entirely relevant to the video. I probably can pontificate or at least assume what happened at it. He felt he did really well, though he had to compete against some other individuals in his group. I ended up making the video shortly after because I kept seeing you mention the video is a much better way to go. Awesome. All right, so that's kind of the gist of the video. And by the way, his wife watches some of the gaming videos I have on the YouTube channel, so that's awesome. Shout out to your wife. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to overlay this audition video into the video player. This is really me seeing it for the first time, so I'm going to be a little quiet. I'll comment if something's very aggressive or something that needs to be changed dramatically, but I'm going to be taking notes during this so I can share it with you guys like I would the first time. Here we go.
Hey, check this out.
Okay, so he's doing some weird thing with his eyes.
All right, now that you've been
I may not do that in the first
let's
intro.
begin. My name is Andrew Brisgornia. That's Brisgornia. It's a name straight out of your bowl of alphabet soup, and it also sounds like a disease. I live here in St. Louis Park, Minnesota, just
Talking
outside
really
of
fast.
Minneapolis, and I'm a high school math teacher. But I would much rather be working in baseball instead. So much so
So he
that I
hates
was
his life.
actually fired from a past job because I spent all my free time watching baseball highlights instead of preparing for classes and meetings. I took a full week off from school once so
Okay.
that I could attend the Major League Baseball winter meetings in
So he's
Tennessee last
passionate about
December.
baseball.
And my own wife even questions what's most important in my life, her or baseball.
Okay.
I've also been told that I lack empathy. I actually had a coworker once tell me that I was a sociopath. She was telling me a story
That's
about
not
how her
good.
dad had to go
Everyone
to the
says that
hospital.
stuff.
I just looked at her and I'm like, okay. And she got so pissed because of that. Another time, back in high school, I had a girl come to me and say that her uncle had died. I looked at her and I just shrugged. And she
It's kinda
actually
bizarre,
stopped talking
man.
to me for a full month after that. I later found out, though, that it was a test. She had a crush on me. She wanted to know if I could be an emotional person. Well,
What is going
I guess I failed that one. When my wife comes home from work, I never ask her how her day went because I don't care.
I don't believe
there's a
him.
natural disaster
I
in the world,
watched
let's
this and
say
I don't
Hurricane
believe you, man.
Katrina, a tsunami over in Japan, I don't care. Our planet's already overpopulated. Whenever one of those things happens, more space for me. That brings me then to why I want to be on Big Brother. At a past job, I had a student once come to me and she said she had something really important to tell me. I really didn't want to listen, but she was my best student, so I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, go ahead. She told me that when she was younger, 3 years prior,
I'm
that
right
she
now.
had been
I'm
sexually
like
abused
I'm
by
kind
her
of
brother.
like bored at this point.
He
I mean, no
fled the
offense to you.
state, went
I'm giving you.
Michigan, and just recently had announced that he was coming back to Minnesota. It had scared her so much that 2 weeks before this talk with me, she attempted suicide.
Whoa.
I just sat there the entire time, doing my usual thing, being stone-faced, and I was shocked when the next day she came to me and she thanked me, saying that I was such a good listener, that she loved that I did not judge her.
Here's the thing, though.
What?
He's talking
I
about
didn't
someone
do a
else.
damn thing! But here she is. Anyway, after that, I started to feel something, like I needed to connect with her. But how do I connect with a high school girl? Well,
You may not
one
wanna
day,
do that.
she said that she really loved Big Brother, and she convinced me to start watching. So I watched season 17 over the
So he's
summer.
really
and I
dragging
loved
out
it
a
so
story
much
that's
that
not
I binge
relevant
watched
to
season
who he
6
is.
through
I know it sounds kinda
16
harsh,
over the
but-
next 6 months, tweeting her the entire time about everything I was watching. Her boyfriend eventually told me that he felt that I'd helped her more than anybody else, and her mom even considered me to be her daughter's guardian angel.
It's a
Not
sweet
bad
story,
for a self-described sociopath.
but it may not.
So, thank
Fit
you
for
for your
this.
time. Please pick me. I would love to be on Big Brother. Brizzy G for MVP. Or as I would also like to say, the next winner of Big Brother.
You're the first person to ever say that in an audition video. All right, so I brought some heat on Andrew here a little bit, but here's the good thing. So this is his first attempt. Here's what I liked, because I always like to lead with honey and not vinegar. Here's what I liked. I think you have parts of a cool story. I think you have good energy. Got to tweak a few things. But I think the big thing is we just need to work on your story. Here's what I remember about you. The things that stick out. You really like baseball and are somehow involved in baseball, and you're apathetic, which I don't really believe. Here's why, and this is just maybe I'm biased, but teachers generally and genuinely care about students because that's why they teach. I don't know why else you would teach. So I don't know if that's you're trying to play that up because you think that will make for a more interesting character. I'm just not buying it personally. So that's more of an opinion thing than an objective thing. So number one thing you need to do from a delivery standpoint, especially in the beginning, is just chill, man. And I know that's kind of the antithesis. You're talking really, really fast. It was kind of hard to understand what you were saying. I'm not saying take the energy down, but just enunciate more your words or slow down the tempo, but you can still have energy behind it. Just slow down the rate at which you're speaking. So that's a big thing. Second thing, I would change up your intro so that I would throw that randomly in the middle and be like, hey, I can do this cool trick, and then do it a little quicker. Because right at the beginning, you're kind of like, that's when you got to get like hit in the face with the Andrew freaking uppercut. And I'm just like, all right, that's cool, but you may want to lead it in the backside, because I would expect someone to be a little bit more quirky to lead with that. Anyways, I would definitely, I'm going to be objective from here on out. I would take that and splice it somewhere in the middle, and I'd do it a lot quicker. The main thing that you need to do in your audition video that you didn't do, Andrew, is you need to focus more on yourself. You probably burned about 45 to 60 seconds telling a story that was more about this other girl that got you to Big Brother. I'd be more interested into how you got your foot in the door in baseball. What that's like. Have you ever thought about quitting full-time teaching to go to baseball? I would be very careful about how you present that. Because to me, being a teacher, and this is not offense to teachers, but is not unique. Being a scout for a semi-pro or amateur baseball team is unique. I would expect with that comes a highly analytical side, a way to understand and develop players and draft players and be in that aspect. You're a scout. I mean, I would play that up tremendously. Like, look, your job is to watch other people and see how they perform. That's directly applicable to Big Brother, and you don't need to gap that bridge for them. They will put that together. So I would take, that's a huge component, and that should be the centerpiece of your story, 100%. There's probably not a lot of other baseball scouts applying for Big Brother, just throwing out there. But you have to ask yourself, are there a lot of other teachers? Most definitely there's a ton of teachers applying to get on Big Brother. So that's a big thing. Make that baseball part of you, even though, and people say, well, Dan, that's not what he does full time. It doesn't matter. That's his unique selling point that no one else, very few other people have. So a lot of other people, unlike you, Andrew, they may just be a teacher and they don't have that interesting component, that unique, really weird, different, special component of their lives, but you have that, which is a great thing. That's what you need to focus on. The other thing I like that you said Drizzy G, for whatever reason, that's very memorable. But focus on baseball and then derive stories from that are about you, or that show how you are under pressure, or show funny things about that. I just felt like I was bored throughout it, and like I said, this is your first attempt, and so don't take any offense. I'm telling this to you to help you put yourself in a better position to be successful. And if I were just to come on this video and say, hey, oh yeah, you're great, you get nothing out of that. So I'm doing this to help you, and this is what I do in the audition video analysis that I do for people. So the big things you need to do, definitely change the intro. Watch yourself back a lot. And then part of that is splice in the eye trick somewhere in the middle. You need to develop the baseball side. I would have at least a minimum 1 or 2, hopefully 3 baseball stories or anecdotes you can place in there. And then you need to figure out a branching part of your story. So you're the baseball scout who blanks. I mean, you could be the teacher who is a part-time baseball scout, but it just doesn't work like that. You're more apt to get selected because you're a baseball scout. On your folder or on, wherever your Chiron is going to be baseball scout. So you need to be the baseball scout who X. And that X could be, this is where you need to start. Make a list of the 10 weirdest things about you, things you may not share about to other people, things that you may be embarrassed of, but that you need to be the baseball scout who X. Whatever that X is, that's really important. And the other thing to keep in mind as a general reminder throughout the video is that you need to focus on yourself through the video. And for some people that's really awkward because most people aren't used to talking about themselves exclusively. They need to use other people to do that. But you need to do that to be able to pitch yourself on video, because that's what you have to do in person. So that being said, I hope you take those action steps and really build on your story. But Andrew, I do have to say, for a first-time attempt, it's a lot better than most people. And for you, the hardest part is done. You have a unique component of your life. You just need to spend more time developing that. So Andrew, I really want to thank you because you're the first person to put yourself out there and be like, hey Dan, here's my video, and you can use it in the podcast. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. As a small thank you, we're going to send you a free digital copy of my story, How a Normal Guy Got Cast on Reality TV. And if you want your question answered on the podcast, you can send it to howtogetonrealitytv.net/ask. And thank you guys for watching. All right, I want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of How to Get on Reality TV podcast. If you guys want your audition video broken down in the same way as Andrew did, there's a service offered through the website. If you go to howtogetonrealitytv.net, and there's a header up there, it says step-by-step products. There is the audition video analysis where you submit your audition video, and I get this breakdown for you one-on-one. Andrew, because he put himself out there, he got a hybrid version of it as a thank you for doing that. I don't know the next time we're going to do this, probably not for a while. But if you guys are interested in having your audition video broken down in this fashion, you can check that out by going to the website, howtogetonrealitytv.net, and there's right at the header, there's a button that says step-by-step products. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this new twist on the normal podcast, and we will be back next Monday answering your reality TV casting questions. Have a great one, and I'll see you guys next